Hello, I'm Felicia Ortiz from Texas Lutheran University, and I'll be going over the digestion of the stomach and small intestine for my medical terminology class. Digestion in the stomach. Peristaltic contractions mix different boluses of food together. Cells of the lining of the stomach secrete mucin, hydrochloric acid, which is abbreviated as HCl, pepsinogen, intrinsic factor, and chemical messengers. The words broken down: the root for mucin meaning mucus, the suffix in meaning chemical compound, and the definition protein element of mucus. Hydrochloric acid, the root combining form hydro meaning water and the root chlor meaning green, the suffix ic meaning pertaining to, and the definition the acid of gastric juice. Pepsinogen, the root combining form pepsino meaning pepsin and the suffix gen meaning produce, and it's the enzyme converted by hydrochloric acid in the stomach to pepsin. The intrinsic factor, the root intrin meaning on the inside and factor meaning maker, the suffix ic meaning pertaining to, and the definition substance secreted by the stomach necessary for the absorption of B12. Chemical messengers stimulate other cells in the gastric mucosa. And in the picture you can see the duodenum and the pyloric sphincter. The stomach continue. Liquids exit the stomach and the resulting chyme is held in the pylorus. Peristaltic waves squirt chyme through the pyloric sphincter into the duodenum. And some of the words associated with this section broken down. The word duodenum, the root duoden, which is Latin for 12, and the suffix which means structure. The definition, the first part of the small intestine. The pylorus, pylor, the root meaning gate, and the suffix us meaning pertaining to. The definition, exit area of the stomach proximal to the duodenum. Pyloric, the root pylor, again meaning gate, and ic meaning pertaining to, and then it's pertaining to the pylorus. And two abbreviations associated with this section are EMR, Emergency Medical Responder, and ER, Emergency Room. Some disorders of the stomach include gastroesophageal reflux disease, which is abbreviated as GERD. It is just the regurgitation of stomach contents back into the esophagus. Vomiting, gastritis, which can be caused by non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, which are abbreviated as NSAID. Peptic ulcers, gastric ulcers, and gastric cancer. The word gastritis, broken down, the root gastr meaning stomach, and the suffix itis meaning inflammation. The definition, inflammation of the lining of the stomach. Gastroesophageal, the root combining form gastro meaning stomach and esophage meaning esophagus. The suffix al meaning pertaining to, the definition pertaining to the stomach and esophagus. Reflux, the prefix re meaning back and the root flux meaning flow, which the definition is just backward flow. The small intestine, there are three segments of the small intestine: the duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. Then the words broken down: duodenum, the root duoden meaning 12 in Latin, and the suffix meaning structure. The definition, the first part of the small intestine. Jejunum is Latin for empty, and the definition is between the duodenum and ileum where most of the absorption occurs. And ileum is Latin for to roll up, and it is the third portion of the small intestine. And in the picture you can see the different segments of the small intestine. Continuing with the small intestine, 4 major levels are present in the wall of the small intestine along with all areas of the digestive tract: the mucosa, submucosa, muscularis, and serosa. And in the picture you can see the different levels. And the different levels broken down: the mucosa is Latin for mucus, and it is the lining of a tubular structure. The submucosa, the prefix sub meaning under, and the root mucosa meaning the lining of a cavity. It's the tissue layer underneath the mucosa. The muscularis, muscule, the root meaning muscle, and the suffix aris meaning pertaining to, the muscular layer of a hollow organ or tube. Serosa is Latin for serus, watery. It is the outermost covering of the alimentary canal. Digestion in the small intestine. Where most of the absorption occurs is in the small intestine. Peristaltic movements of the small intestine have 3 functions: to mix chyme with intestinal and pancreatic juices with bile, to churn chyme to make contact with the mucosa for digestion and absorption, to move the residue toward the large intestine. Some disorders of the small intestine include gastroenteritis, celiac disease, ileus, bleeding caused by duodenal ulcers, and intussusception and cancer. Some of the words broken down: gastroenteritis, the root combining form gastro meaning stomach, and the root enter meaning intestine, the suffix itis meaning inflammation, and the definition: inflammation of the stomach and intestines. Celiac disease, the prefix dis meaning apart, and the root celi meaning abdomen, and es meaning normal function. The suffix ac meaning pertaining to, and celiac disease is caused by a sensitivity to gluten. Intussusception, intus, the prefix meaning within, and the root suscept, to take up. The suffix ion meaning action, and the definition: the slippage of one part of the bowel inside another causing obstruction. And ileus, which is Greek for intestinal colic, the definition is dynamic or mechanical obstruction of the small intestine. And that's all for the digestion of the stomach and small intestine. Thank you.